Alrighty. I think this is it. This is the start.
What are you getting me into, Steve?
I've always wanted to do a podcast, and it feels so good that we're all sitting down here.
I'm so nervous, by the way.
Why are you being so nervous? This is fun.
See, this is why I married Stephen. He always gets me out of my comfort zone.
Yes.
And I think doing a podcast is probably the scariest thing you can ever do.
Coming from the girl that uploads videos to YouTube?
No, I think podcasting is scarier.
Why? Why is it scarier?
Because you're talking like to a gigantic microphone.
But doesn't it make you feel like you're on like radio or something?
Yeah, radio sounds scary.
But you're like the podcast queen. Like you listen to... Oh, okay. Jess listens to the most randomest podcasts in the world. I trust you. Like,
you know what sounds random? Is I'm pretty sure my first podcast that I ever listened to was
what is this?
I'm pretty sure it was 10 years ago.
10 years ago. So this is 2010. We're what? Yeah. University?
Just 2010. Now it makes me sound even worse of the type of podcast it is. Try guess. What do you reckon I listened to?
I think I know.
What was like the topic? Do you know?
Yeah.
Wait,
can I guess it?
No. Let's Cleo try.
Oh yeah. By the way, yeah, we've been told this. Yeah. We got my sister just over here.
Yeah, hello. You haven't even introduced me.
You haven't
introduced anyone.
Yeah. For the record, Cleo's here. So Cleo, guess. What do you think Jess's first podcast that she listened to?
Like, what do you think the topic is?
Something about spiders or something, like some interesting thing. I don't know. She listens to something so weird sometimes.
I can second that. Like, I can sometimes wake up in the morning because Jess falls asleep listening to podcasts. I wake up in the morning, she's like, I just learned about porta potties. And I'm like, excuse me? Learning about this, and then we go for our morning coffee, and then Jess is like, this is the history of porta potties. And I'm like, okay, cool, that is way too much information on why we can poop outside at festivals.
Yeah, I know, it goes to like, what, a 30-minute session of me talking your ear off while we walk about the randomest topic. But what do you think my first podcast was?
I think I know what it is.
Yeah, well, Cleo guessed spiders, which is kind of close.
Is it actually?
What was it?
Is the topic YouTubers?
No, it wasn't YouTubers.
Oh, so it's not?
No. My first podcast.
Oh, no.
Do you actually remember?
No,
yeah, I
know
remember.
what it is. Is it a Twilight fan fiction podcast?
It was a Twilight fan fiction podcast. So I was so obsessed with Twilight. Like when the first movie came out, I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? Found the books, read them all. I would walk to work reading a book. Like, would you ever walk down the street and see someone reading a book?
No.
Yeah. And,
when you lived and you had to cross the freeway?
Yeah, so I'd cross the freeway reading this book, like glued to it. And then I got so into it, I must have Googled about it, found this podcast, and like they would break down each chapter about Twilight. And like when the fourth book came out, they're like, oh my gosh. I don't want to spoil anything if anyone's not seen Twilight. I definitely recommend reading it.
I think you can skip it.
So that was my first podcast.
Well, 2010. So this is like, so podcasts were invented, I think, with the iPhone.
Well, I don't know how they did it. So all I remember is it's 3 people. I didn't listen to it on a phone, I don't think. I don't know how I found it or anything.
You guys need to find this podcast and send it to us. And
yeah, it's a Twilight fan fiction. It was a guy and 2 girls, and they were very, very into Twilight. So that was my first podcast. And then I remember getting back into podcasts. Now we're going to 2015. So this is when I think podcasts started getting popular, like the app came, right?
Oh,
yeah.
We just lost our lights. This is join our train wreck of a podcast, guys. We have never done one of these before.
That's right. Anyone listening, they can't visualize the lights.
Just picture magenta lights slowly turning on to 100%. Cool.
There we go. Sorted.
Perfect. So it wasn't... Okay, my guess for you was Ear Biscuits by Reconnecting, because I think that was my very first podcast I listened to. The lights have gone. Why do you keep going on?
I need them.
No,
you keep chatting. What is it?
All right, so this is what I remember of when I got back into podcasts. It was 2015. Stephen and I were in Costa Rica.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we were volunteering with sea turtles. And the reason that we're volunteering there was there's poachers that come and they take the turtles from the beach.
Yes.
And basically what we're there to do is to then go and collect the eggs so the poachers don't steal them. And then we would build these huts, and then we would like create fake turtle nests.
Yes.
Put the eggs in there and then lock up the cage overnight.
Yes. And if we're talking poachers, in the middle of Costa Rica, in the middle of nowhere. These poachers, we got told, had machetes, didn't they?
Yeah,
And they're like, oh, okay, you, yes, this is a story for another time. You 25-year-old, can you just go wait on the beach by yourself at 1 a.m.?
Yes.
And there could be someone with a machete coming for sea turtles.
You guys never told me this.
We'll have to do a story on this one.
Basically, our job was you'll do 3-hour shifts in the middle of the night by yourself, and you would have to go on the beach and sit in front of the huts just in case poachers came. So the first shift, I go out there, it's 1 a.m, and I sit there and I just start picturing like this guy in the bush coming out. And I go, what is this? So I ran up and got Stephen. So he came and did the shift with me, and his shift is straight after. So instead of a 3-hour shift, we're doing a 6-hour shift.
Yes. Oh, we were wrecked for those.
So tired.
Was it a week we were there?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it was an amazing experience, but wow.
And so in the middle of the night, I was so scared that I'm like, I'm not sitting outside the hut waiting for the poachers. So I'm like, Stephen, we're waiting inside the hut
We locked ourselves inside the hut.
for 6 hours every night, and we would lie.
That's so smart though.
And we would lie in the sand, surrounded by turtle nests, listening to my favourite podcast, which is Stuff You Should Know, which is where I learnt about porta potties.
No, I think you told me about that podcast, and that's when I first listened to podcasts, which was on the cruise.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which
and that's
cruise
the
is
first-
this one?
Oh, the one
Were we
in
on
the
it?
in
the Caribbean
The
with the
Caribbean,
family.
yeah. That was the first
Oh,
time.
wow.
So
that
this
was
is
a while ago.
2009, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
What?
Wait, no.
Wait, when
Mine
did-
was the catamaran, sorry.
Oh, the catamaran. So it was like 2 years ago.
And that's when I listened to the first podcast.
Yes.
And it's from you.
And that's
you
why-
told me about them.
Well,
and I was like,
podcasts are so good because, like, if you're traveling,
Yes.
if you're like on a plane or a boat
Yeah.
or something, it just like makes time go so fast. I love them.
Real quick, I think mine was Serial. I think. Was it Serial,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
murder
yes.
podcast? And I think maybe that put podcasts on the map.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how, what's with murder and everything? What's the murder show on Netflix? Stephen Avery?
Making a Murderer.
Making a Murder. I feel like when that came out on Netflix, everyone was like, have you seen the show? You need to subscribe to Netflix. So
Are you saying we should start a serial killer podcast rather than a Find the Nest, the Stories podcast?
yeah, okay. Maybe we need to start this whole thing again. But
And
anyway,
fix the lights.
speaking of it, I think we need to welcome you guys to the Fly in the Nest show. No,
No, what do we call it?
Stories from Fly in the Nest. I'm your host, Stephen, with my beautiful wife, Jess, over here. And we've got our tag-along sister, Cleo, who's going to be joining us. We think we're going to give her some jobs, maybe look after the little podcast, jump in, say some funny stories. But what do we want to do at the start of every single podcast? Can you guess, Cleo? This is the one thing I planned. Nothing is planned for the podcast.
a little theme song. I don't know.
Oh, no, we don't have a theme
We need
song.
a theme song.
And then I was thinking of one. It should go, did a little podcast.
Yes, that's so good.
If someone is a musician that watches or listens to this,
Yes.
We need a
do
theme
that.
song, please.
that's your guess.
Okay, that's my guess.
We need to, at the start of every show, and everyone that's listening, we need to have
Yes.
some ginger beer.
Sure. What about banana bread? Are you sure?
How was that banana bread,
Oh,
by
it
the
was
way?
amazing. It tastes like lots of bananas.
All right, everyone,
All
pop
right,
this
ready for
open
the
in front
pop?
of your microphone.
Wait for the pop.
We should do the... Oh,
Oh,
we said wait
get
for the pop.
excited.
Wait.
1, 2. I'm so scared.
Oh, I just
I'm
whacked it.
scared. I'm scared I'm going to put this all over the podcast.
Oh,
Yes.
cheers.
Cheers, guys.
All right, and if you're
And-
listening at home, cheers something.
Cheers to the
Cheers, your
podcast.
partner.
Also, if you're listening at home, the thing that we just popped is Stephen's favourite drink, Bundaberg ginger beer. If you've
Which
been
is-
following for a while, you'd know Stephen is a little bit obsessed.
I don't think anybody knows about this drink on our channel at all. So if you are new around here, which probably you all are because this is the very first podcast, we would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the podcast, give it a bit of a rating. I think you rate podcasts. Yeah, you rate podcasts. And leave us a little comment. It's found pretty much where all good podcasts are found. So Spotify will be on the Apple Podcast app.
On
Just about
YouTube,
every-
if you want to watch.
Yeah, this is a video podcast as well. So if you are listening to this, go to our YouTube channel, our second YouTube channel.
Yep.
Stories from Flying the Nest.
We still don't know the name of our own podcast.
So that is going to be where it is. And at the start of every podcast, we just want to chat about what we've been up to this week. Jessica, what have you been up to this week?
I feel like back in the day I could have had like the most exciting story of what I've been up to this week. But this week I made jam.
If you guys are just joining us, this is like what we're filming this on. What is the date today? It is the It's the 23rd, so we made this jam a few days ago because we're trying to get this out like every second week, and we're going to film it pretty much a couple of days before it comes out. But you made jam.
I made jam. It smelled weird but tasted good.
Cleo, did you try the jam?
I have not tried this
Yeah,
jam.
you tried the jam?
I have not.
Oh, yeah, I haven't given you. I made you a whole jar.
What is in my little mystery box? I'm going to try the jam.
We can try the jam.
Oh, my God. We're trying the jam.
This is the one thing you planned.
Okay, there was 2 things I planned. I promise you there's nothing else coming up.
All right, I'm going to try this jam.
If you're watching at home, Stephen just opened up a cupboard and took out my famous jam, and Cleo is now going to taste it.
Very Mary Poppins style. Like the Bundaberg came out of there, 3 Bundabergs, and some jam. So stay till the end of the podcast. There may be something else. Spoilers, there's nothing else in there.
First of all, I can't even open it.
Jam.
I'm going to smell
Taste
it
the
first
jam.
because you said it smelled weird.
Yeah, it did. It smelled weird. Do you need help opening it?
Yeah, I do.
Wait,
I can't open it.
my little podcast thing has sound effects. So wait,
Ready?
open it.
No. Open it like this.
Oh my gosh, no.
Okay, whenever you say it again, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to do this one. Oh, no, that. Yay, that's the one. It's the yellow button for the record.
All right, really yellow. Where's my scone and cream?
Oh, you just tasted it.
You were supposed to bring that.
Do you smell it?
Oh, yeah.
What does it smell like?
It smells like honey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's cooked with honey. She's currently tasting it.
So she's putting a spoon up to her mouth.
No, it tastes good. No, it does.
That, is the biggest
It
lie.
tastes really good.
Do you like it?
Like, I could just eat it out of the jar.
Well,
It's
you
not
get to
too
take that
sweet.
one home.
You get a prize for being on our first episode.
Thank you.
Okay, no more of that.
Okay, so you made jam.
Yes, I made jam.
Was it fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Not much to say. I
much to
made
say.
jam. It's had a taste of approval by Cleo, and
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it with scones and cream, and we gave some to Ashley and Heidi, and Hugo enjoyed it, didn't he?
he did.
Yes. I've honestly had the most boring week, just to add to your boring story. I've been literally locked up in this room, which was the office, is the podcast room, and been pretty much spending 12 hours a day getting this Flying the Nest Academy launched. I've been wanting for years to put out an editing course. Remember, I filmed it 2 years ago in Melbourne, and then we scrapped it. So refilmed it. Thank you so much to everyone that has supported and enrolled in the course. There's been so many of you, and that is pretty much what I've been doing all week, is editing it. So we've both had very boring weeks. Cleo, what have you been up to
Please
this week?
spice up this segment.
Oh, okay. So I like to go out on the weekend with a few friends.
Is
And
that why you're
these guys like to stay indoors, so I go out on a Saturday, okay, or just, a few drinks with the friends. I need to go to the toilet, so I go to the toilet.
The porta potty?
Yeah, that's it. And all the cubicles are locked, and then there's one with no lock, and I was like, I really need to go to the toilet. So I asked this girl, and she's like, I was like, oh, do you mind holding the door? And she was like, yeah, sure. So, but she comes in with me, so I'm like, oh, God, I can't say anything now. And then she just, goes, I'm a Flying the Nest fan. And I was like, what?
Wait, so you're sitting there peeing on a porta potty?
And she just,
And
I'm
she's
like,
like,
okay.
yes,
And I'm like, oh, really? Yeah. So we're just having this conversation about you guys, and I'm just, just doing a wee.
Was it ones or twos? Was this too much? This has got to be the most random place to meet a Fly the Nester.
It actually was. It was so random. I was like, oh, yeah, I'll see her around. And then, I holded it for her because she needed to go. So
Did you hold it inside or outside?
inside.
As just as bad. Oh my goodness. Do you remember her name?
No, I don't. I'm
Damn.
sorry.
Shout out to her, and thank you for holding the door for Cleo.
Yes, thank you. I really needed to go.
Please, if you do see this, which you may not, please write in. We need to have a phone call with you.
Oh my gosh, she should be our first
Oh
guest.
my gosh, yeah.
Yes, you call her in. Please get in touch with us. What can we confirm? What was wait, we need to know what Cleo was wearing, and she needs to confirm.
Oh.
Just in case
Yes.
some
So
random.
don't tell. She has to tell us, and we know it's her, and then
Does
she can
Cleo
come on.
fold or does Cleo scrunch? That will be the deciding factor.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
That was way more interesting than our life this
Yes,
week.
that's my little story.
Well, what we're going to do is for every episode, we're going to have a topic of the show. And I think this topic of the show, we kind of want to share untold stories from Flying the Nest. And we thought what would be great is to start off with untold stories from before Flying the Nest. So this is we started flying this in
15
2015. So we're going to go way back.
to
2005.
2005.
2005?
Yes. 5 years before I listened to the Twilight podcast.
Just to put everything into a timeline for
Yes.
everybody. So what happened in 2005?
In 2005, Stephen and I dated for a month, and then he broke up.
We're jumping straight into this.
We're jumping straight into the story of the day.
I thought we were just going to like talk about high school and stuff, but we're just jumping straight into
Okay, so if you knew
my
around
husband
here,
broke up with me.
So if you knew around here, Stephen and I met when we were like 13 years old in high school, and we became very, very good friends. And then in 2005, we were in year 11. Stephen, do you even remember how you asked me out?
How I asked you out.
Yeah, how did you ask
The
me
first
out?
time or the second
first
time?
time. I kind of remember
Okay.
being at our friend's house. And
Which
did
friend?
you come over with a rose? Oh my gosh, it was like The Bachelor.
Oh my gosh, Steve, that's so cute.
Come over with a rose. Isn't it?
Yes,
Can
I
you
think it
remember?
was
So
it?
I think he came over with a rose and asked me out.
Yes.
And it was very teenage romance.
Yes.
Because after a month, I was at home. I thought the relationship was going fine. And I'm sitting there on MSN. If anyone doesn't know what MSN is, it's like a messenger where you chat to people.
Just think Facebook Messenger, but that's it. Nothing else.
And the cool thing about MSN is that you had your own name, but people didn't only just have Jess. It would be like Jess, and then it would have like your friends' names that you love.
I
Yes.
remember this.
And then
So
you
it'd be
could
like,
do
Jen
this-
is awesome, Steve is my boyfriend, like stuff like that,
and a
right?
little
Sparry.
rose or something.
Yes, exactly. That's it. In high school, we
You know
called
where this
Stephen
is
Stephen.
I know, I've heard this.
So I log into MSN, and I noticed Stephen's online, but instead of having Jess and a rose, and that's probably why I was a rose, because he gave me a rose when he asked me out. How cute! Because then the story suddenly goes very uncute and very mean, because I go on MSN and it said Jess, and instead of a rose, there was a wilted rose. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's a wilted rose. What is going on and what have I done? So I jump on there. I can't remember the conversation, but it kind of went along the lines of, hey, no, kind of, we're over. And I cried all night.
Oh, Steve.
Make me sound so bad. But
So
yes,
now we're on the podcast. Why did you do it, Stephen?
Oh wow, we're jumping like straight into it. This is
Yes,
like
this has turned into couples therapy.
I'm getting a bit sweaty in here. It's like springtime's come on. Is it just me? I need like a sip of ginger beer.
I got him more nervous now. By the way, just so you know, if anyone's heartbroken about this, a year later, he asked me back. Like I won his heart back. He knew he made a mistake. And we've been together ever since.
And what's that? Just give me
Long
a little bit
time.
of goodness.
Wait,
Like,
what?
How long have we been together?
Like 14 years or something like that.
14
A long,
years.
long time.
Yes. Okay. So
People want to know why.
I feel nervous telling the story. Okay, so when I was in high school, I dated a few people before you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, had my first girlfriend in
You're
year
nervous
9. Yeah, I am.
I basically was a rebound.
Okay, that was a nervous laugh. Okay, so I dated this one girl, and we went out for 3 months, and she dumped me.
And I think that was the first time Stephen like really liked someone. You know, you like dating.
I think
them
I
in-
remember this girl.
Yeah.
She was a blondie as well.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
really tall.
really.
I remember her.
But do you
Yeah.
want to hear the story? I don't know. Would she listen to this? I won't say any names.
No, don't say names.
No, say it. Okay. So we dated for 3 months, and this was classic high school. I thought I was in love.
Yeah, he was in love.
I was in love.
Steve was in love.
Not
So
with me.
I am now. We have a baby together.
Still upsets me.
So there was this girl. We dated for 3 months. So of course, perfect amount of time to fall in love in high school. And we went to the school ball together. She dumped my ass at the school ball. And I was
That's how he learned how to dump people. Because then later he dumped me on
please.
MSN.
Do we have
No, we don't.
Oh.
Wait.
No, we have this one. Oh. Okay, no more.
You've said that, and you keep pushing the
It's way
button.
too fun.
So she dumped me at the school ball, and I was like heartbroken. I think like at the after ball, I was just a mopey mess.
Yeah, I remember.
Doing like nothing. So then I think it was a month later,
He needed a rebound chick. That's me.
I'm glad you get like some funny out of it. So yes, me and Jess. We broke up we dated for I can't even talk. You're making me so nervous. How long did we date for?
Oh, so then we dated for a month. He broke up with me, and then we stayed good friends because I'm a nice person.
Aww.
And so we stayed good friends, and then the next year on graduation night, he asked me out again. I remember how you did that.
Yes.
Because it was like midnight and it was Halloween. And he asked me out, and I said yes. I'm pretty sure he went like, do you want to go out with me? That's like back in the day how people would ask people out.
Yeah, how do people ask people out these days?
Don't even
They're on
say
Tinder
anything.
and swipe.
They just
So
swipe.
you just keep hanging out with him, and then maybe it'll be 5 years down the track, and then they'll be like, oh, do you want to go out?
Yes, I remember. So we went out. Well, he asked me out, and then the next day he came over with his brother's new pet puppy. We were so excited. Diesel. We took him for a walk, got home, and then your mum came home and they were like, oh, make sure you don't take Diesel on a walk yet. He hasn't had his vaccinations. And we were like, oh, and like thought we'd killed Diesel. Because we were like, oh
like,
my gosh, we've taken him for a walk. Yeah, he sniffed other people's, other dogs' butt. Yeah, we were so nervous. But he's fine. And the relationship has blossomed ever since. And no other breakups have happened. Maybe it's because there's no more MSN. He has no other way to break up.
Oh, true. Maybe I'll see if I can find my login somewhere. Well, I'm glad we've gotten that story out of the way. I did not expect us to jump straight into that. How about some just fun high school stories?
Okay, I have a fun high school story. I feel like, I don't know if I've told you this one before, Cleo, but Stephen is involved in the story. So I'll kind of tell my point of view of the story and then you jump in with yours. You'll remember this one.
Okay.
It's a fun one. So we're in year 12. We were all hanging out with our friends and it was 11:20 and at night. And one of our friends were like, oh my goodness, I could so go for McDonald's right now. And then we were all like, yes, that sounds amazing. But the issue is that none of us could drive yet. And at midnight at a McDonald's, after midnight, you couldn't walk in anymore.
Say the proper name.
Maccas.
Maccas.
Yeah.
So at 12 o'clock, the Maccas closes and the only way you could get some more Maccas is by driving through the drive-thru. So we knew we had 40 minutes to get to the McDonald's, otherwise we would not get the McDonald's, right?
Okay.
So it's about
really
10
wanted
of
that
us.
McDonald's.
Yeah, we wanted
On
it.
that Big Mac.
So there was 10
No, it
of
was
us.
like a cheeseburger. We had no money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no.
No Uber Eats back
Yeah.
then.
No, exactly. So we knew it was a half an hour walk away. So we start walking, and I'm like, you're looking at the time, and we're all kind of dawdling and talking, and I'm like, we're not going to make it. Stephen and our friend Jen, I'll name her, she won't
we're name
mind.
dropping it. This is not the ex-girlfriend, by the
No,
way.
this is a good friend of ours. Stephen and
We're
Jen.
not good friends with the ex. Oh, I suppose we hadn't. Going into it since then.
We ended on good terms.
You might have ended on good terms.
True. You haven't. Yes. So we were walking to McDonald's and Stephen and Jen were like, oh my gosh, you guys are dawdling so much. You know what? We're going to run and we'll meet you guys there. And so then I was like trying to choose who should I go with. And then I was like, oh, I can't be bothered running. You guys just go ahead. So Stephen and Jen bolt to the McDonald's. They run.
I want that McDonald's.
And this is the story I heard anyway. So then they get to the McDonald's and they run inside and there's a minute left until they closed.
Yeah.
And what happened?
So I'm taking over the story.
Yes.
So we
I was
went
very jealous.
So we went up to the drive-thru, and I think this was before when you could walk through the drive-thru. Now it's it's a health hazard. You can't go through the drive-thru.
anymore.
And we walked through the drive-thru. I think we were like
pretending they're a car.
pretending we were a car. And then we get up there. We're like, can we just order some food? And we're trying to get some food for them. So we close in a minute. I just have all this food for free.
All the food they're about to throw in the bin.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is a McDonald's thing. I've never worked at Macca's before, but they just gave us quarter pounder meals. They gave us Big Macs, chips, drink. I don't even know why they gave us drinks. That stuff's just staying in there.
And you know what they did? They didn't save it for us. I remember they said they just lied out under the stars.
I remember just lying up, looking up. At
shoving McDonald's in their face. They didn't even save it.
And were you still walking towards
I didn't know this was happening.
Dawdling,
so we're walking to
not walking.
McDonald's. We're dawdling. So we're still dawdling to McDonald's while they're lying out having the best McDonald's feast of their life.
Yeah.
And so now jump back to our part of the story. So I'm walking along the road.
Part of the story.
The dawdling part. So it gets to like 10 past 12 and I'm like, you know what, we're not going to make it. So we all turn around and I love how we like Stephen and Jen, they're gone. Who cares about them? We don't know where they are.
Did you say we did say you didn't even make the effort to come towards us?
So we turn around.
I'm pretty sure we texted you because this was back in the day when you had to pay 30 cents a text message.
For some reason, I can't even remember having phones involved in the story. Yeah, so we're walking back home and I see this limo drive past. And I randomly went to my friends, how funny would it be if Stephen and Jen just jumped out of that limo right now? The limo pulls up and Stephen and Jen walk out of the limo. What? Yes.
Me and Jen always think this is that day when you have the best luck in the world.
How does this even... Why haven't I not heard this story before?
It's because I chose to dawdle.
So we ran to McDonald's, got our free maccas. We're sitting down, like having the best time of our life, shoveling like chips and like burger, everything into us, looking up at the stars. And then we're like, where's Jess and, was it Lisa and Nikki?
I don't know. Stop name dropping.
Okay, sorry. Okay, people
All
from our
friends.
high school. Yes. I made up those last names. And then we were just walking back, and this was just before our school ball, and we saw like a Chrysler 300C limo.
So it was during a time where there was a lot of school balls happening.
Oh, okay.
And ours was like, I don't know, a month or two away. It was coming up. So me and Jen went up to him and said, let's go up to him and said, hey, can we please have a lift? Like, we're literally going from one suburb to the next suburb. And, maybe we'll book you for the school ball. So he's like, oh, I'm not supposed to do this, but sure, just jump in the back.
Oh, my God.
And then we just drove off and then just got dropped off on the side of the road. And
in front of all of us. And and how funny is it that when I saw it, for some reason, I was thinking, how funny would it be if Stephen and Jen walked out of there? And they did.
Yeah.
They did
They
the
had the
night ever.
McDonald's.
No, they ate it all.
Oh.
we ate it all because they took too long. And then I'm pretty sure the story ended up with us stealing some gnomes, running down the street, and someone chasing us.
That's for another day.
Oh, that was such a good story. I totally forgot about that.
It's like my favourite memory from school is that day, even though I wasn't even involved in it. You guys just had the perfect night.
Yeah.
We honestly had the perfect night. And I wish we had phones back then, like smartphones to take photos, because there's zero proof that this ever happened. We could have just made this up. But yeah, it was a good night. Okay, so we want to do reader questions, but this one was kind of like snuck into the whole subject of school. So we had to sneakily ask questions because no one knows about this podcast besides like you.
Oh, yeah.
And I know about it. We told Hunter. She's excited about it.
She needs to keep that secret.
If you don't know who Hunter is, she's our baby girl.
She's currently sleeping
and I'm watching her on my phone. One time we'll have her as a guest, don't worry.
Yeah, we'll need to get like another podcast set up for her and she'll just be like, wah. Anyway, that's just parents obsessed with their kids. But anyway, so we had to be super sneaky to get some questions from you guys. So on our Fly in the Nesters community group, I was just like, we're thinking of doing a Q&A this weekend. Do you guys have any questions about our relationship pre kind of Fly in the Nest? And people were like, oh yeah, that sounds great. Excited to see the YouTube video.
Surprise!
We tricked you. Surprise! So, all right. So if you guys do have reader mail questions, what we're going to do is you go to flyinthenest.tv/podcast. I think that will be the easiest way to remember it. If you head there, you can send in some questions for the next podcast, which of course will be coming out in 2 weeks' time. And we've got some reader mail, which we sneakily got from you guys. So this was just for the first episode. But Caitlin Ferguson said, what was your first date / favorite date together?
Oh, I remember our first date. So I was very excited. Stephen said that he wanted to take me out for dinner. And we went to...
Was there a rose?
There wasn't. Probably.
Probably.
He's a very rose boy, He likes to give out flowers.
We call it romantic type.
Yes, he's very romantic. So we went out for dinner. And what we thought...
Where did we go out for dinner?
We went to a place...
It would have been nearby.
It was probably a crappy local restaurant,
No, didn't we go for Indian?
No.
Crappy restaurant. Okay, crappy restaurant.
It was a crappy restaurant, but we thought it was very fancy because we were going out to dinner. Because this was the first time that we were ever going out to dinner somewhere.
Yes, because we'd been friends for so long and we'd hang out all the time, go to the movies, there was nothing this, do you want to go on a date? This was the most formal thing we'd
dressing
done.
Up. So I got all dressed up. It was also exciting. And then we went out and we had our dinner and then we went home.
We went to Sienna's.
People aren't going to know these places.
Okay, Italian restaurant.
Okay, we went to an Italian restaurant. And it wasn't Sienna's.
My birthday's coming up. Can we go to Sienna's for my birthday? Can I put that up?
I used to always go to Sienna's for my birthday. What happens to that?
It's
I know.
Sizzlers now. It's
Yes,
Sizzlers.
why is it Sizzlers now?
Sizzlers
All these people
now.
not from Perth are going to be like, cool story about all these restaurants we don't know. That is why I wasn't going to say the restaurant that we went to, but if you all want to know, it was Oscar's at Currambine.
Oh, it was Oscar's at Currambine.
Yes, so that was our
Yes.
first restaurant date. We went
Anyone
out.
that works there, it was a crappy restaurant.
Sorry, Oscars. So we went out to eat.
To be honest, the food was not that good there, but I apologise. It's probably changed since then, but let's just put it
Turned
up
into a
there.
Yelp review for Perth restaurants.
Can you guys please leave us a good review on the podcast?
So we got home and we were gone for like 45 minutes. And my mum, so I came home and my mum's like, what's wrong? Like, you're already home. And I was like, yeah, we just went out for dinner. And she's like, what? You were so fast. We thought like, if you went out to dinner, you go out to dinner, you eat your dinner, you go home. Yeah. We didn't like stop and chat. And we didn't know that that's what you're meant to do. So literally our date was 45 minutes long.
Yeah. I remember you telling me that you came home and your parents were like,
Yeah, what's
did you guys
wrong?"
break up again? But, oh yeah, I do remember that. That was a cute little date. I enjoyed it though.
And then our favourite date.
Favourite date?
I think I know the favourite day. Is this for Steve's birthday one time? And you like Crown
Sizzlers?
was involved in a limo in a surprise party with everyone.
Oh, you're mixing two birthdays together, but those two birthdays were really good. So for my birthday one year, we went out to, if anyone is a Perth local, we went out to the fancy, classy restaurant of Hog's Breath.
Hey, those curly fries are good,
Those
Oh, they
curly
are.
fries are good. So
but
we went
nothing
out.
else on that menu. Sorry. Probably good stuff that is made there.
We're very good at picking restaurants, clearly. So I think it was my 18th birthday, maybe. We went out for dinner. And then when I went outside, there was this limo there. I feel like we're like really into limos for some reason.
Oh, we were back in the day. They were like the coolest thing.
Yeah, the coolest thing to go in.
So I saw
Every
this.
day you go in a limo.
No, exactly. Except for Stephen. He goes to limos all the time.
Yeah.
So I go outside and then there's a limo there. And Stephen kept really wanting me to go and like have a look at the limo. He was like, come and look at the limo. Like, how cool is the limo? And I'm like, I don't want to go near the limo. Like, I
Like,
still
get
go home.
to the limo. Get inside the limo.
Like, look at this
Pushing
limo. Literally. And I'm like, okay. So I walk up to the limo and then out pops all my friends and it was a surprise birthday party.
Amazing.
From
I wish
Roseland.
someone would do that for me. That's so cute.
And then the other story we were talking about with the Crown was for his 18th birthday.
Oh, so it's both of them
Mixed, yeah. So then we went out to the Crown and it was our first time we had ever booked a hotel.
For those who are not from Perth, Crown would be like maybe one of the luxury hotels in Perth. Like
It's very expensive.
I think you saved up for weeks to go there.
Yeah, back in the day it would have been so much.
So expensive. And so we went to book in and then they're like, oh, okay, so we just need to like hold some money on a credit card before you check in. And I'm like,
We've
credit card?
never travelled in our life, by the way. This is no travels, no nothing, first hotel.
Yeah. So I didn't know what they were talking about. I'm like, credit card? I don't have a credit card. And they're like, well, then you can't check in. But the whole time, and so I'm calling my parents being like, Mom and Dad, can I like use your credit card, like just to do a hold? Like I'm not spending any money. I'm pretty sure you called your parents and they were like, what are they up to? Like, no.
Yeah.
Like 18-year-olds in a hotel room, like, no, that's not a good idea.
Exactly. And so then we realised right at the end that she just needed a card. Like a debit card was fine.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh my gosh, we stressed for hours. Didn't know what was happening. And
You
then
cried, to be
I
honest.
cried.
Yeah, you would have.
So I'm
You
like,
would have cried.
because what happened was I had our friend staying and he didn't know. So then we all checked in and then we're like, surprise, friends are here. And then we went to the casino and out to drink and stuff. Yeah.
No, that's two separate birthdays. you're
Oh,
mixing
here we
here.
go. We're all so fancy. Always staying at the Crown for
Yeah,
birthdays.
limos.
No, but that person paid for it. We did pay for it, I think.
What are you talking about?
Are we naming Chris, I think, paid for it? Or did we?
Chris paid for us to go to the Crown? I don't think so.
I don't know. But yeah, I feel like that's just merging stories.
Yeah.
I'm so confused now. Like, all these random restaurants, all
Guys
these
have
random
just
people.
got to come to Perth when you can, when the borders open, and then you can
We'll
just
give you a
visit
really good list of restaurants you should check out.
Hog's Breath. What was the other one?
Sizzlers.
Oscars.
Stop
Sizzlers.
naming them. I feel bad.
I know, I'm so sorry. If you do work there, apologies. All right,
Any more questions from
Yeah,
the
we do.
readers?
All
Or
right.
listeners?
Haley Johnson.
By the way, the whole time I realised you're calling it reader mail. Shouldn't it be listener mail?
I don't know. Should it be listener
Yes,
mail?
they're listening.
Okay.
Okay.
What if they're watching?
Oh, watching mail.
Like a match of the two. All right, listener mail. Haley Johnson said, at what point in your relationship did you know that you wanted to marry Jess?
Oh,
This is so
when?
cute.
Tell me.
Okay. So I wanted to add to the story of when I asked you out because I
You're
don't
going
know.
to make me cry.
I think I'm going to cry because I remember the moment he told me. Keep going, though.
What? No, can you tell?
No, you tell your story first.
Yeah.
No, you tell your story. Cleo does it. What?
No, I want to start the beginning of it, but then I want to hear Cleo's side.
Oh,
I remember when Cleo realised that Stephen loved me. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
With the tea?
No?
You should share that after.
Yeah, but
With
Steve,
the
you go
tea.
first.
Well, you explain Cleo. So there was one
Okay.
time where Cleo goes, wow, I really realised Stephen loves you. And why?
Okay, so it was the moment when he got his wisdom teeth out and he was high.
So high.
And Jess had
Not
to...
from drugs, from like...
Yeah, from drugs.
Yeah.
From like
From
a
wisdom
medical...
teeth drugs.
I remember this. And then, so Jess was doing something and I had to take Steve to the car. And Steve gets in and he's just looking for Jess and he's looking out the window like, where's Jess? Like, so high.
pull
And
that
he's
face.
yes, you did. You were like this.
We did record it all the time. We have evidence.
Out the window and just staring, like his face is squished to the window looking for Jess. And I was like, that was the moment when I was like, Steve really loves Jess.
I love that story.
I have no memory of
You
that.
should have said
I
that
actually
story
have-
on our wedding.
Yeah, I
That
should
would've been good.
I actually have videos of it too because I Snapchatted the whole time of you looking out the window. I should send that to you.
you
Get a little
should.
snippet of it.
We'll put some little show notes on there where we can pop it up somewhere and you guys can watch it. Okay, so I wanted to start like just the beginning of the story. So I don't know if you remember, Cleo, but in year 12, so what, 2007, 2005, so how much younger? You're 4 years younger. So you
I'll
would
be
have
in
been
year 5. Was it 2005?
No, 2000. What are we talking about now?
Wait, what? Yeah.
year 12.
We're very
Year
datey
12.
in our podcast.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we throw dates
I would
all
have been in
around.
year 8, I think, if you were in year 12.
Okay.
I remember you guys leaving high school. I was like, no, don't leave me. And
I don't ever remember you being at our school.
I wasn't. I came into it and then you
And we
left.
left.
But you were in year 5.
So when we were in year 12, Cleo was in year 7. She was about to come into high school.
That's it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very important part of the story, I'm sure.
Keep going, Steve.
I'm regretting starting this podcast with you. Okay, in year 12. I don't know if you remember, but Mom and Dad said we were going to move to Queensland.
Yes, I think I remember, yeah.
You don't remember. You're looking at me like you don't remember.
No, I remember and I was just like, it was the worst thing. It was all my friends, yeah. Keep going.
So I asked Jess out graduation night, and I think we were going to move in
forgot about
February
this.
of 2008.
Yes.
With the dates. So, I mean, I think one of the reasons I asked you out, because I think I totally believe, and I think I still believe that now, is like you should chase happiness. Like no matter what, if you think there should be an end to it, like chase that happiness. And it was I was going to be happy with you. So that's why I asked you out, even though we could potentially have moved to
Oh my
Queensland.
gosh, I forgot you were going to go there. Why didn't you go?
Yeah, why didn't we go?
Well,
you
remember
had to
when
look after
Mum
your
and Dad
pet
were going to move
dog?
to Christmas Island like 2 years ago?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they just love to move places.
Yeah.
No, they always love to announce that they're going to move places and then it never happens.
Yes.
Where was I going with that story?
Yeah.
I did like
But I was your happiness and you were chasing it?
Okay, I chased the happiness, and yes, so I definitely believe. And then, of course, we didn't move to Queensland, so then like we were still dating, which was amazing. So I'm actually kind of glad Mom and Dad said that, because maybe I wouldn't. I mean, I'm sure I would have asked you out,
But that like pushed you to go for it.
pushed me to go for it.
Oh, never even knew this.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
I have that cheesy story about when I told you and you were like, you should have said that at your wedding.
Say it.
What is it? Say it.
So I was saying to Stephen one time at school, I think it was like just before he asked me out, like properly asked me out for the second time. And I remember on the bus on the way to Stephen's house or something, and I was randomly thinking, because I was like, oh, I really want to go out with Stephen. And this must have been like maybe 2 weeks before he asked me. So we must have like known like things were like going on, and we were like, oh, I think we'll maybe date. And I remember going on the bus and thinking, I just wish I could like talk to my future self and go, Jess, will you end up marrying Stephen? Yeah, and I was thinking that.
That's so cute.
Yeah, and then
What's with you guys and like having really good wedding speeches and not?
and not using the content. But I think I forgot about it until recently, and then I was like, I remember sitting on the bus and thinking, will you marry Stephen in the future? Yeah.
Oh, cute.
That's cute.
Love you.
Oh.
It's getting too cheesy. Alyssa asked, "Do you ever argue?"
What did you say? Someone asked, do we ever argue?
Elsie Holmes, Alyssa Holmes. Elsie, I apologise.
People.
Do you ever argue? Can I please answer this?
Yes.
They do not argue at all. And even when they do, it's like not even like a fight. They just disagree and then they're like, okay, done. They don't argue. They never.
People always ask us this, and I'm like always trying to think like, what do they mean by argue? Because Steve and I have never had like a massive fight before or anything
never.
like that.
Yeah.
But it could be like, so Stephen doesn't like when people are in his way. So if I'm in his way,
so then Jess gets in his way more and he's like, Steve.
So, like he's literally like, Jess, can you get out of my way? And I was like, what do you mean? I just started hugging him, like really restricting him.
If I try to get out of this room, which is so cramped, I don't think I could because it was like there.
So yeah, we don't fight, but it's so funny because we know what gets on each other's nerves.
So they do it more.
But then for some reason it makes it funny. I don't know.
Then it becomes a game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Cleo answered the question. We really just do not fight. But I think that's mostly because we're both not confrontational people.
I think it takes a lot to get us angry.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Like, I think just, I don't know. I'm not a philosophical person, or what's the word?
But he's always chasing that happiness.
Yeah, very chill personalities.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very chill personalities, yeah. But I mean, I think life's just too short to argue.
Plus, I do think that if you find the right person, you don't argue as much. I don't know. It's hard because Steve and I have only ever really dated each other besides the girl at school that broke Stephen's heart.
Should we get her on next week? Why did you break my heart?
Yes.
Imagine, we got a little fancy thing. We can call people.
I mean, we can call people.
We can. But I think that is all the questions for the moment. And I think, like, is there more stuff to chat about? Or is that, how do we end this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening. I think, seeing as there's so many wedding speeches you guys could have done, do you reckon next time we chat, should we chat about everything that went wrong with our wedding?
Oh,
yes.
Because that could be kind of fun.
That is a good
definitely.
topic.
So definitely if you are new around here, because this is so fresh, we'd really appreciate if you guys just hit subscribe, like download the episodes, give it a little rate, give it a little comment. Everywhere, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and then just send us a message if you do watch it or listen to it. We'd really appreciate it.
Let us know how we went, because you know how I think we went?
Nope. Can we just test quickly before... Oh, that would have been good. Okay.
No more.
All right. And they gave us a little podcast song on here, so this is the end of it, but we want someone to do Tiki Taki podcast for us if you can.
Yeah, so this is the what do they call it?
Like the audio, not the...
Like the standard audio that comes on here. So pretend that this is our outro, but it's actually stolen from our Rode mic software.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks
See
so much
you
for
guys.
watching
Thank
or
you.
listening.
Bye.
Bye.